Before I start that off, I'm just going to set the stage. Let's say that I am me in my daily day-to-day life, and I want to review a call that occurred between, let's say, Ludzi and Suraj to check in on the status of their upcoming AI webinar, because it's important that we follow up on all of the next steps that invariably came out of that meeting, right? So to do that, I'm going to go straight to the epicenter for AI at Plative, which is basically where we address or cover AI in all of our day-to-day life, and that's Slack. So as you can see here, you're looking at a couple things. So I'm gonna take you through this. The middle of the screen is a channel that's called Signals, and basically what Signals is that it covers and records all of our conversations. For anybody who joined the webinar earlier, you would have seen the Plative note taker. For anybody who's used Gong or anyone who uses any sort of conferencing solution, that's something that's not very new to people, right? Call recording and auto recording for Zoom and Google Meet, this is all pretty standard stuff. Teams and Citrix as well. But on the back end, it's going to send all of these calls into the AI model that we've created. And then it's going to do a few things. It's going to create a sentiment analysis, which colors that call red, yellow, or green, which aligns up to the sentiment of the customer. In this case, it's found Suraj at Salesforce. So it's given Suraj the Salesforce moniker here. And the way that it does that is he has an @salesforce.com email address. It's going to find that in our Salesforce database and connect Suraj with Salesforce. So it's given us a sentiment score of 4 out of 5. We had a good call. Overall positive collaborative discussion and planning, that's all fine and good, right? It also gives us a call summary. So the call summary says that we discussed logistics for the upcoming AI webinar. It got the date wrong, but that's okay. We might have actually had it on the 17th before we moved it to the 16th. It has us conducting it as a virtual meeting. We talked about doing it in the office. That's a no. So you can see that there's the summary, the decisions, the issues, the actions, more context, and then it gives us this really handy link to the notes, the transcript of the meeting, and the recording of the meeting, which is actually held in Gong, which is the platform, the technology that we use to record the meetings in the first place. But let's say, for example, that I don't get enough information from this. So let's say that I want to ask Plato, which is the name of our bot. Any customer, any organization can create their own. So let's tag Plato and let's say, what next steps does Ludzi have? And what's basically going on here in the background, since Plato is essentially a large learning model that has been given the gift of historical context, it knows that I'm asking it a question about this meeting because I've replied in the Slack thread. Okay, that's a really important note. So based on the meeting notes, some next steps for Ludzi include finalizing the agenda, so on and so forth. So it's basically giving me, if I had nothing to do with this call, which most of the calls in the organization I don't have anything to do with, but especially if it's a customer, I want to get their sentiment, right? So that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So it's giving me all that information. You can see with a very human-like tone, it's giving me the answers. Now I've got a bunch of bullet points here, and I could deduce that Ludzi's probably going to have to spend a lot of time on this. Remember, we're a professional services firm. So if I have a resource like Ludzi, who's conducting AI webinars and doing workshops for all of our customers, I probably don't want to tie him up, but I need to be able to see how much utilization he has. So I'm going to ask Plato a command, a very simple command, util Ludzi.
I hope it doesn't get me into any trouble.
That's okay. Everyone laugh at Ludzi in shame. No, I'm just kidding. As I mentioned before, we set Plato's context window to include internal systems like Salesforce, NetSuite, Google Meet, Tableau, and a lot more actually. So what's happening right now in the background, typically this takes 60 seconds or so, is that the AI is searching Tableau for utilization dashboard, drilling down into Ludzi's name, drilling down into all of his information, and it's going to pull up what it thinks is most helpful to me. So what's popped up here, and more stuff is going to pop up, but let me just expand this. What's popped up is our Tableau dashboard. This is literally a screenshot from Tableau. We've configured this dashboard. We have it for every individual. It's dynamic so that you could type in the name of the person and you could see the information. So as you can see, you've got an over-under report here. So this is Ludzy's utilization history, right? We're looking into the day in the life of Ludzy. He's been pretty far over his utilization, right? And I could kind of see that just from this. But let's say that I'm just a CRO. I'm just a salesperson. I don't understand exactly what all of these charts mean. So let me get out of here and back into the thread. What you've seen Plato, our app, do is it looks at the Tableau data and it gives an analysis of the data that I might be able to understand. And it says that Ludzy's util consistently exceeded his target. Everyone clap for Ludzy. Nicely done, Ludzy. His actual util started at 24.5 against a target of 18, right? So as we can see, Ludzy's killing it. He's doing well. Not so fast. Forward-looking, 6-week outlook. Over the next 6 weeks, he's projected to underperform his 18-hour util target. Well, guess who this is good news for? Me, because I need Ludzy's time to build out this AI webinar with Siraj. So now I know Ludzy's got a little bit of time. I got to fill him up with some work. Good thing that Siraj and Ludzy had this call. He's got some next steps. I could put some work on his plate, right? I just want to do a quick recap, but before I do, overall conclusions, recommendations. Here's my top 3 observations and recommendations based on the provided context. Strong historical utilization. Nice job, Ludzy. Forward-looking utilization is below target hours. This signals a risk of underutilization without intervening. Underestimated his actual utilization. So what's happening here? As a sales leader, as a CEO, as any leader in the business, I have the ability to get this in-depth analysis, which what I was talking about at the beginning of this whole workshop, right? Was if I wanted to get all of this information without tools like this, I would have to take probably an hour of Ludzy's time or a staffing manager's time or, forbid, a team meeting to do this. So I've cut down the amount of time that would otherwise be billable for Ludzy. And if you multiply this by 100 professional services consultants, 1,000 professional services consultants, you could really start to see where the ROI comes into play.